Body Slams podcast viewers. I'm one of your co-analysts. I'm Chio Frost here, and welcome to another edition of Thursday Night Slam. And this just so happens to be our season finale show. That's right, season 1 is done after tonight. Come 2022, in the beginning, we will start season 2. But between now and then, we will be going on Christmas break, so we can all spend those holiday joys with our loved ones. You know, get them in headlocks, throw a chair, whatever the case may be. It's professional wrestling. You love it, so why not wrestle around with your family and friends? But today, on our final episode, we're going out with a bang for 2021. And come 2022, we'll be starting off with a bang as well. But I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to bring in my co-analyst, our bearded raven himself, Mr. Dennis Reaper.
Bearded Raven, dude. I
didn't want
can't
to
get over this. I love the name. I really do need to make a T-shirt with this nickname. Change this background to a bearded raven.
Like I said, you said you didn't want to be called Bearded Angel, so I had to go out there.
I'm not an angel. If you look at my 14 years in wrestling, when have I ever been an angel in the wrestling ring?
I don't know. When you're a baby face?
I don't even remember the last time I was. Besides when I did get a chance to please retire. That kind of did turn me.
Don't get me started. I would love to bring that video clip up.
Don't you dare. He's sour.
But I'm not gonna do that.
No.
Tonight I'm gonna get funky like a monkey with these cheap plugs that we have, baby. It's to make them dream.
There you go.
But live and in color. If anybody wants to watch any of our shows, just jump on over to Devereaux Sports, as we practically have a show on every night of the week. You know, we have the Sullivan Squad, the Old School Show, the Combat Misfits, us here on Thursday Night Slam, the Scrapper Boys, who are on hiatus. We don't know if they're going to return or not, but in time will tell. Don't forget about the Gobbler Inc., Breakfast and Body Slams. That's right. Our final show is this Sunday. That's right, of this season 2, as season 1. And our pop-up pipe bombs, which can happen anytime, anywhere, with anyone. And not to forget our brothers in arms in the podcast world. I want to give a shout out to the guys at the Tornado Tag Podcast. Anthony, Andy, and Brian, the 2 days at the 2300 Wrestling Podcast. Rob Williams over at Bob Culture Podcast, Backstabbers Wrestling Podcast, and all the way from Puerto Rico, Conversación de Lucha Libre. I don't think I wrote my R's on Lucha Libre, but
it was close enough. Close enough.
But I'm not a real Puerto Rican. I'm not a real Hispanic. I fit the part because I'm plotting on them. That's what it is. I'm plotting on them, buddy. Yeah, but it is what it is. I get clowned every day at work about it. But you know what, Dennis, I am gonna jump out of the room here. The show is gonna be all yours, my friend.
You're gonna jump out of the room? I don't know when the last time you actually jumped was, unfortunately, because it looks like you got the food in front of you, so it looks like you're just gonna sit there. Oh, my bad.
I'm gonna eat my starch. Oh, that's right.
I'm just gonna drink, out of my nice Baltimore Ravens souvenir cup because I'm the bearded raven.
And I'm gonna plug the show out the best that I can, and to whoever and wherever. And it's all yours, buddy.
It's all mine. All right. Well, cool.
I'm out of here. I'll see you whenever you want to have me back at the end or whatever. The closeout 2021 with this show here. So we can say our goodbyes and all that. Oh yeah,
we'll close out with a bang.
One more thing before I go, I'm gonna give a heartfelt much love prayers to the family and friends of the passing of Jimmy Rave.
Yes.
He was the embassy's crown jewel. Yeah, he left a mark on this business. Um, and for you the fans out there who don't know who he is, look him up. ROH, TNA.
You won't be disappointed.
No, not so ever.
I
So,
had the
but
pleasure to wrestle him before the pandemic happened, and let me just tell you, it was the most enjoyable match I've had in my career because he made me almost vomit because of how blown up he made me, and it was amazing. I wasn't even mad. I was happy. So, Jimmy, thank you. Rest in peace, man.
all right, so I'm out of here. It's all yours, brother.
All right. Well, welcome to Body Slams podcast where everybody left me and it's just me today, guys. But again, this is our season finale, and I wanted to bring in who I believe is the most the biggest rising star in my opinion in independent professional wrestling. And I've had a pleasure of knowing him for almost 14 years. Shared locker rooms with him all up and down the East Coast. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is the MCW Rage TV champion. I'm probably messed that up, so he can yell at me in a bit. The Kekoa. Just bring him in. I'm messing it up.
Wow! Of a fan. Round of applause. Round of applause. I'll let the mess up happen because you oversold the rising star.
But for, be honest with you, like there's guys that we've all known in the business, right? That have all said that they want this and they have the hunger for it, but they never actually show it. They don't really do anything with it. You have literally been proving that for 14 years that this is what you want to be in your life, is in being a professional wrestler. You proved it every day, and there's nothing that you haven't tried to do and accomplished to get there. So again, in my opinion, you are the rising star in independent professional wrestling to be the next big guy.
I'm trying, and I appreciate that. And you're right. It has been the focus since day one. I think that for me, I think that there's you never like regret anything as far as like, oh, I wish looking at it as a negative aspect. There's so many things that I wish that I would have changed about getting to the point where I am, but at the same time it's it's helped, and I'm glad that the adjustments that I have made, especially in the past, I want to say 6 years, have greatly helped me get to where I am and the opportunities that I've been getting recently. So hopefully it continues to pay off.
I'm hoping it gets paid off. Again, we've shared the locker rooms with each other probably a good 6-7 years out of the 14 that we've known each other. And I've gotten better when I share locker rooms with you. You've helped me. You've literally told me when I got done a match, that looked like crap. Here's why it looked like crap. And then I did another show and fixed those things that you pointed out that I didn't catch, that I did wrong. Again, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. We're all still learning.
Because I mean, and I didn't mean to rake your eyes there, but I just, for me, like I hate when I would come to the back and somebody tells me like, you had a phenomenal match, I don't have anything for you, and then it's like, what I know that there's stuff to work on, but then the other problem is, either they're being dishonest with me. Two, they just don't know, like they don't have that type of experience to pick something apart and say, hey, tweak this or do that. And then it's okay, well, now I need to change something. And if you're coming back and someone's telling you it was phenomenal, there's nothing, I wouldn't change anything about it, then why are you still on the indies? Because if you're doing this flawlessly, then you should be somewhere else. So and that was always my biggest gripe when I would see younger guys come to the back and they don't ask for critique, or they don't ask like, hey, did you have anything for me? I didn't ask you, but did you happen to catch the match? Do you have anything for me? Like, they're coming to the back, they're hugging and celebrating like they just tore down WrestleMania, and I'm like, okay, it's just I wish that more people wanted to learn, You know, there's, and I'm still getting torn apart, and I'm literally, when I talk to other people and I send my stuff out, I'm like literally rip it apart. I'm like, I don't even care if it's something like, because I'm trying to get graded on a level of, hey, if I were signed, what would I get yelled at for? Because I want to know what type of adjustments that I may need to make in the future, hopefully. Whereas, and I get that critique also. It's like, well, you're doing this, which is fine because you're on the indies. But if you're here, you would be doing it this way. And it's like, but then they're also saying, but if it's a house show, you could still do it that way. So it's like, okay, so now I'm getting like all parameters of, whichever route it would be. And that's what I want. I want to know everything. Like, I want to just dive into it.
No, I totally understand. I totally get you. The whole sending stuff to people and getting them, telling them literally pulled apart. I remember doing the gut check back in the days, and Simon Diamond literally gave certain amount of people his personal email and says, I'm literally wanting you to send me stuff, and I will tell you what you did wrong. I would send him stuff all the time. And he'd be like, I remember when we did the gut check, he goes, the two things he loved about me was my strikes. He goes, they looked as clean as possible. He didn't like how the tag match went. And I asked how I could fix it. He goes, I'm going to send you what you did in the video, and we're going to fix it. So he did that. So I would always go back and fix it.
I'm loving these. I'm sorry. I'm loving these comments that are popping up. Did I tell Aubrey Edwards to finish? I wasn't even in the damn ring when that AEW match happened, so I can't tell her anything.
So since that comment's brought up, we're just gonna go right to it then.
Okay.
So for the people that are tuning in, Kekoa was literally just on AEW in a big 6-man match. And I know Chia, there it is. Chia was pulling it up on the picture. You went into this match against 3 powerhouse guys. I'm gonna be dead honest. Dante Martin and Ricky Starr and Hobbs are probably 3 of my favorite in AEW right now for the younger generation guys. What were your thoughts when you got there? How did you feel about it? What did you get out of the match?
I mean, of course, I'm always grateful for, the opportunities, especially because, for those that don't know, I was actually at AEW, a couple weeks before that. I was in Philly. Now, unfortunately, like that night, I didn't get to do anything. So then when we get to here, it's like, okay, well, I'm here, I'm assuming I'm going to have something because, it's a taping. But, again, things change, plans change, like doesn't necessarily mean any type of guarantee. So when I actually, got to see my name and I was like, okay, I'm doing something, then it was like, okay, like of course it's a great feeling. Being able to do it with those 3, and especially 3 very talented people, again, just blessing after blessing after blessing, and just being very happy that it's like, okay, all of that other stuff that you've been doing has gotten you to here. So now it's okay, now we're here. Now we need to focus on the next step. And that's exactly why, for those that don't follow me on TikTok or any of my social media platforms, I had put that video out of, it's one of my favorite quotes from Kobe Bryant when he was getting interviewed and he was up 2-0 in the NBA championship. And they're like, oh, we're looking for a big smile out of you. Where's your smile? And he was like, what's there to smile about? And they're like, you're up 2-0. And he's like, job's not finished. And it's the same thing. I had the conversation with, a buddy of mine that was also at the taping, and he was like, how do you feel? I'm like, of course I'm happy that I got to do it, but now what? What's next? Like, the like, job's not finished. Like, I don't have a piece of paper with my name on it. So there's still work to be done, So again, it's grateful, but not content, because when you're content, then you're stuck and you stay and you're comfortable. I don't want to be comfortable. I want, all right, what's next? What's next? Yeah, exactly.
No, like, and again, like we've been, again, I'll say this over and over and over. We've been doing this long enough to understand, like, the day that we are content and we're fine where we are is a day that we might as well just stop, because we're not hungry anymore. We're not the passion might still be there, but you don't have that drive that we should always still have, And that's something that I always try to tell the younger kids at ACPW when I was up there. Like, look, if you want this, you have to dig for it. There's no there's no waiting for that opportunity. You have to go for that opportunity. You have to make these drives. Bruder Bob Evans makes it pretty clear. Do the drives.
Yeah.
If you don't do the drives, what do you get out of it?
Yeah.
The professional wrestling is a gamble.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I'm learning. Justin, can't wait for the 30th to see Kekoa. Oh, I appreciate it. I'm excited to get back to MCW for the last call, which we'll get to then. But something that I've noticed with being down in Florida, it seems like a lot of Florida wrestlers don't leave Florida. And maybe it's more because maybe it's further. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of times when I talk about or I'm getting introduced to people or people are telling me about different wrestlers in the area, they're like, yeah, he's a Florida guy. And it seems to be a term down here. Now, I may be incorrect, but I feel like the guys up north, maybe again, and maybe it's because New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland are all a lot closer than Florida is to anything else other than Alabama and Georgia. Maybe that's it, but to me, like North Carolina it's not that far. It's the same distance from where I am to North Carolina as it was when I was in Pennsylvania to North Carolina, and I did those drives. So I that's what I'm starting to realize. It's just, maybe that's starting to dwindle down. I don't know, but that's just not my advice, I guess.
That's not your cup of tea. That's not how you do things. Like,
no, but in where I am now, and now that I've been doing this for a little bit, my main focus is MCW because MCW is a place that gets me better. And now with these other companies that reach out to me, it's like I don't mind doing any other shows, but they're my number one. So, and luckily for me, that MCW is so busy that's the priority of my bookings, and it keeps me constant. So now I travel more, but I travel less in the same instance because someone's like, well, how do you like the you have to fly up to flying is easy. I sit on the plane. I sit on the plane for 2 hours and I hop off. One of my buddies picks me up and they drive me to the freaking thing. It's way easier now. It's way easier now. Before it was a 3-hour drive and I have to drive. You know what I mean? Like, so I'd much rather hop on the plane and deal with TSA and deal with getting dropped off and picked up or maybe leaving earlier than I want to. I'd much rather deal with that. I don't have to focus. I can just sit on the damn plane.
You go into you check in. Now you go to the next spot where you're, going to get to your gate. You sit around for like a half hour to 45 minutes, maybe longer.
Not even.
Flight and you're done.
Yeah, because now, like, TSA isn't as long as everybody thought it was going to be after. I mean, it was obviously when 9/11 first happened. Yeah, but we've come, much further now. But I get TSA pre-check. I fly right. I go right on through. Since I'm only usually flying for the weekend, I just have my one carry-on, so I don't have to wait for another bag or anything like that. So yeah, I very quickly picked up on the constant traveling, constant flying.
No, and again, like I've done. Let's see, I haven't flown since COVID ended, but beforehand, like for all the RV stuff, I was always being flown, so I was always doing things. And it wasn't that bad. The flight, the check-ins were very quick. When I was going on plane still, and this is way after 9/11, but. If people want to go flying and they want to travel for wrestling and they go during a holiday season, of course it's going to be busy. Like Christmas is going to be jam-packed. You're flying up here right around Christmas, after Christmas.
Yeah, right after. I have to. I'm flying out Wednesday morning at like 5 a.m. So it shouldn't be busy. And then I'm flying back Friday night. My wife's giving me the eyes because she has to pick me up Friday at 11 p.m. She's like, "You're landing an hour before New Year's." Really? And I'm like, the differences of flight price was astounding if I didn't pick any other flight. So I'm like, that's what it is.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Would you
hang on? Would you rather the 11 p.m. pickup? Or would you rather the 5 a.m. drop off? You can't say neither. Which if you had to pick one, we're live on air. Just pick one. She's like, all right, fine. I'll pick you up at 11.
I wouldn't want to be up at 5 a.m. either. So,
No,
and I'm up every day at that time for work. So I'm used to it.
Yeah, but there's definitely times where like I don't want to inconvenience, my buddies in Maryland. So I'm like, hey, so the last Hollywood show when we did a couple weeks ago, when we were driving back up, since we were passing the airport, and then he was like another 35 minutes north. So I'm like, it doesn't make sense to pass the airport. We're gonna get to your house by like 1:30. I need to be at the airport at like 5. I'm like, just drop me off at the airport. I'm just gonna sleep there. So I just find a little spot. I pull my hood down and I just sit on the steps or whatever. Or not the steps, the seats.
Yeah, I had to do that when I had to go to Georgia. I was going down there for a wedding, but I booked me a show as well. So I was like, all right, well, I'm picking up a rental car in Allentown at the airport at 12 o'clock at night. I'll just start driving down.
Yeah.
I get to the airport and the rental car place closed at 12:30. They closed at 11:45. The lady was like, she left early.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not going home. I'm not sleeping in a hotel. I'm going to sleep in the airport.
Yeah.
Because they opened at 6 a.m. So I'm like, all right, I'll catch 6 hours of sleep, whatever.
Yeah.
And I've slept in plenty of in airports because I didn't feel like I'm already by the airport after the show. I might as well. I'm just staying here.
Yeah.
There, it's in our world that's perfect sense. It's
the same
money.
as again, like if you're doing a long drive, rather than spending $100 on a hotel room when you're only going to be sleeping for a couple hours and then hopping back on the road, just pull over, sleep in the car, and keep on going.
Yeah, go right to a truck stop or a rest area, pull over, turn your light, and you're good. Just don't, do it at restaurants in what state? I want to say it was South Carolina. They'll give you a ticket, or Virginia. It's one of those two.
Well, Matt Saigon, whenever we traveled, he would specifically say, like, because we would usually get paid, and then they're like, yeah, we'll get you a hotel room, or I'm like, or you can just give us the money and we'll get the room ourselves. Like, we'll pick one. You make it easier on you. That way you don't have to take care of it. And he's like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then Saigon's like, we're not picking a room. We're driving. We're saving that money. I'm like,
dude, I love when promoters like, hey, I'll book you a hotel. Nah, just give me the money, dude. I'm probably gonna get one like about like 3 hours away.
Yeah.
And get somewhat home, and then I'd be like, I'm just gonna go to a rest stop.
It's always it's tough too, because I'm like, it's probably gonna be a sketchy one. It's probably gonna be sketchy, whichever one you pick. So I'm like, I would be more comfortable if I just could pick myself.
Listen, I loved wrestling down in North Carolina and Mount Airy for AIWF, but that one hotel was pretty sketchy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that was a sketchy hotel. I love all those guys, Matt Classic and them, but that was a sketchy hotel.
I agree.
But so okay, for 14 years you've been doing this. What's some of your highs, some of your lows within the 14 years you've been in the professional wrestling world?
It's tough to say which are my highs, because my highs I would define them as highs for different reasons. Like, MCW, like winning the MCW, heavyweight championship was a big high for me. Being on AEW, big high for me. Being on WWE, big high for me. Like, these are all different, bigs, for different reasons. So it's kind of tough to say, like, what's the high of the career? Because again, and I'm also still going, and I feel like I'm just getting going. The lows, I would feel, it definitely sucked when, like I tore my ACL and I had to go get surgery and I was out for the year, because at the same time when I had torn my ACL, my girlfriend at the time had broken up with me. So mentally it was a big, like, I just ended a long-term relationship. Now I just lost wrestling, and here I am sitting on my couch, like, by myself, injured, and I had nothing. So that was a big mental, like, repair essentially. But it was good at the same time, because if it wasn't for my ACL tearing, then I wouldn't have created new characters that I wanted to come back with, which wouldn't have evolved to, essentially everything else that I have, as far as the Hawaiian Warrior, or even my wife. Like, I wouldn't have met Sammy at the Sanctuary show if it wasn't for tearing my ACL, because then I created that new character that Trotsky wanted me to come and do his shows for, which then met Sammy. So like, it's also tough when you're saying, oh, well, these are the lows, but the lows are still good too. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like everything happens for a reason, but
Yeah.
that was definitely one. And I think the only other time that was like really low for me was when I was overseas and I was doing a tour, and I kept messing up because I just didn't know the rules of like being on the road with a bunch of guys in England, like in the UK. I didn't know what the rules were. Like I didn't know proper protocol. And then on top of it, I was saying the wrong things by accident and then getting myself more heat. So it was like every day I was getting more and more heat and I wasn't trying. Like I was honestly trying to be a nice guy and do this or do that and get along with everybody, but I just kept fucking up. And that was a struggle. And then at one point, the veteran of the group had said, if you leave here with all your teeth, I'm going to be surprised. And I'm like, like that was a struggle. So then it was like kind of sitting on a day off in England, like, what do I do? Like, I can't win over a couple guys in a van. Like, what am I going to do if I ever got to WWE? You know what I mean? Where I have to essentially be friends or at least get along with all of my colleagues. No one's going to want to work with me if I keep messing up like this. And I'm like, how do I keep doing this? So there was actually a thought that ran in my mind of like, do I keep doing this when I get home? Like, do I just go home now? Do I pay for a new flight? Like, it was a big, like, circle of thoughts going into my brain for a second, but then I slept on it, and then the next morning I'm like, no, what the fuck am I doing? I'm like,
Yeah.
I got this. I just need to figure it out. And by the end of it, everything was fine. But that was a rocky moment there.
Yeah, I can't imagine that moment because I haven't done an overseas tour yet, which will probably happen as long as I get cleared with my dome area to do a Mexico spot. But now I'm leery about doing a Mexico run.
But Mexico is different. Like every culture is different, and
Yeah.
every group of guys is different. And when it was explained to me what I was doing and why it was bad, then it was something different. Then it was like, okay, I can adjust this from this because now I understand. And that's something that I've taken in my personal life and in professional life is, okay, well, whatever situation that you're going through, look at the other side first and see what their perspective is. Because if you can understand their perspective, then you might be able to understand why someone is reacting the way that they're doing. Because I feel like everyone is so reactive. If somebody starts yelling at you, you're just like, whoa, whoa. And then like instinctively we start yelling back. I feel like that's what the majority of people would do. Whereas, like if somebody started yelling at me, it would be kind of like a step back of like, okay, let me assess the situation. Like, why is this dude yelling at me? You know what I mean? Like it's those types of things. And the big, again, looking at the other side of that situation was like, you're taking a spot from somebody that lives here that could be doing this tour, learning from these people, and you took that from them. And now you're ruining it because of the way that you're acting and the way that you're being. And I'm like, okay, I see your point. I need to fix what I'm doing. And again, it wasn't like I was purposely trying to be a dick or anything like that. It was just, I was accidentally saying the wrong things, and it was, some things were taken the wrong way, and I needed to apologize for them, and but everything was fine. And I would never regret that tour. I would never regret making those mistakes at all, because again, it's taught me so much even after that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I remember, back in the LVW days, I'm in the locker room, and you and it was you and Sebastian, I think, were a tag team at the time.
Okay.
And you guys were going over, or no, it was you guys versus South Philly's finest, I want to say, and someone blew up because someone wasn't there yet. About they weren't gonna, for championships and everything like that. And I knew you came in, you're like, look, I don't really give a rat's ass what you want. My tag partner in here, this is what they want. We're going to do it this way. If you don't like it, there's the fucking door. And I'm just sitting there going,
I don't remember any of this.
Dude, I remember some crazy shit back in LVW days somehow.
But I don't think I didn't team with Chris and LVW. I teamed with Pretty Boy.
No, you teamed with Sebastian.
And if I did, you're probably right because I don't.
Look,
I
it
can't
was
remember anything.
the only reason I remember this is because I teamed with at the time it was Skull, Team RIP versus Riptide.
Yeah, so Joey Lugo, Ricky Martinez was my Riptide partner. Yeah, if you just said Riptide, that's Joey. That's not Sebastian.
I know you team with Sebastian though in LVW though too.
Not in LVW, no.
Oh, I thought it was LVW.
No.
Well, I know
he wasn't really there that much, but
I know. Either way,
yeah.
But this all went down, and it was like at that time I thought you were like I won't lie, I thought you were an arrogant, cocky son of a bitch. I ain't gonna lie.
No,
but then I got to know you because like I did that tag match against you guys, and you were like, "Hey, so here's what didn't work in the match on our end and your end," and that was the moment where I realized like everything opened up, and I'm like, okay, he's not really arrogant. He gets it. I get what he's saying to me.
Yeah.
So I get why he was pissed why all the BS went on earlier. And it was like it took me oh my god. Chio put EPWE Underground 3 times in here.
Oh.
Wow.
I've teamed with him in Underground, yeah.
That's where it probably
because EPWE, that was around the time that AIWF wanted him and I to team and win their tag titles and then bring them up north. So then we debuted there to test it, and then we went to North Carolina to do it.
Yep.
But no, I mean, your very valid point of thinking that I was an asshole. That's very fair because everyone essentially that has ever met me usually gets that feeling first, and then for those that get to know me, they go, "Oh, okay," like they understand the other side of it. But no, like just to give you a prime example, like Bobby Shields. So Bobby, the last MCW show, he had came up to me and as of right now, he has no plans on continuing to wrestle. Like he thinks he's done. So he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, do you remember the first time that we met?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "It was for Keith Stoddard or whatever the heck his name is."
Oh, wow.
We did a North Carolina show in front of like 5 people. And he goes, "I met you and I thought you were the most arrogant prick I've ever met." And I was like, "No, it's very fair." And it was also like, 12 years ago or something of that sort. But no, I'm like, "No, it's very fair." And he goes, "But then I got to work you, and then I understood." And I actually again, because I'm such a big Kobe mark, but I had another story that I heard from another player talking about Kobe, and I was like, okay, this isn't my exact scenario, but again, it's like he went to Kobe and was like, "Yo, why are you such a dick? Like, why, you know what I mean? Like, why are you an asshole?" And then what his defense was, he's like, "I see my teammates show up 5 minutes before practice starts, and then they leave right after practice." He goes, "They ain't hustling." He goes, "Why the fuck would I pass them the ball?" He goes, "They don't want it." He's like, "They ain't working for it." He's like, "Here I am an hour early. Here I am, staying late to work on my craft and get ready for the season, and they're slacking." He's like, "Why the fuck would I pass them the ball?" And so then that player that was telling the story, he was like, "All right, I see how dedicated he is, and I see his perspective of it," which I then think people that do get to know me, one, like there's a whole other side of me outside of wrestling, but overall, like because of the way that I take the business. But then again, when you break it down, like I am here to help, and I'm here to, help anybody that wants to learn. And I always give the disclaimer of like, it may be the wrong advice, but here's just my advice. But it's definitely the first impression, which I've gotten a lot, which I apologize for to everybody.
And again, I was green as hell when you first met. Like we didn't get.
Well, we all were.
We never worked each other probably for I want to say maybe the first 6 months in LVW.
You remember better.
Again, and that's only because they randomly threw me and the guy Skull at the time into a tag team called Team RIP and said, "Hey, your first match is against Kekoa," and then we're like, "Okay, whatever, what that's cool." And then then I got to work Axel Rotten and all that, and Pretty Ugly, and Axel Rotten was hilarious. But
it was also the same story with my buddy Diaz at MCW, because the first time that him and I had to work each other, he had again heard the same thing, that like Kekoa's an asshole, like he's not a nice guy or whatever. So we were supposed to face each other in the second round of a tournament, and he actually tried politicking to face somebody else, because he heard that was going to be the second match, and he's like, I don't want to face Kekoa. I'd rather face, I think he wanted to face Ryo, I think. But either way, he was telling me the story. He's like, "Oh man, I politicked the shit out of that." He's like, "I did not want to work you," and he goes, "But it didn't work." He goes, "I was told to work you," and he's like, "I wasn't excited about it by any means." So I was a heel. I was doing my King character at the time, and he was a babyface. So for those that don't know who Diaz is, he's very short and he's very skinny. Not that I'm big by any means, but clearly there's a size advantage. So I went up to him as the heel, and I was like, "Hey, here's the idea for the match, because it's not going to be long anyway for the amount of time that they gave us." I said, "Charge me at the beginning of the match. I'm going to cut you off right away. I'm going to just throw you up in the air, let you fly, boom. I'm going to beat up on you for like 4 minutes, very slow. At one point, I'm going to go up to the top rope. I'm going to jump off, hit me with a fucking cutter out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3." And he was like, "Okay." Easiest match he's ever had.
I worked Diaz once down at ACW, and I get to the venue, and the gentleman at the time that ran it was named Chris, tells me, "Hey, you can't wear that gear." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Because I have that gear." And I'm like,
"Oh, was it like what's that company? Was it like a High Spots gear, or
yeah,
like
yeah, Mr. Saturday Night gave me free gear. He was like, "Here's some
what's that other site? Lucha
Underground, or no,
not Lucha Underground. There's another website that people always
MTZ wear.
Somebody will tell us in the chat, but there's another site that like Elucha.
Thank you, Gio.
Which I fucking rib on one of my former students so bad for, because I told them like Brian Trevor Cago, I fucking told them all at like day one, I'm like, get custom gear, do this, do that. He's getting close to his match, like months away from his first match, actually. Now that I remember, he was like so eager to buy gear. He buys a pair off Elucha. He puts his name on the side, and then we find the same fucking exact pair on somebody else, and we're like, "Oh, look, Trevor Kage's in the ring right now." And then I saw it again. I'm like, "Oh, look, Trevor Kage again." There's like 3 Trevor Kages on this show. Look at that shit.
Oh man, good days with these kids.
I got some comments here on my Instagram, which I wanted to point out, and my apologies, because I was
absolutely
trying to, jump back and forth here. But a bunch of people have been saying hi, so thank you all for joining in. I hope you guys clicked the link in my Instagram story or on my Facebook to come join us. Somebody says they like my t-shirt. You guys can't see it, but it says "Looking for Spirits," and it's the Ghostbuster t-shirt. So it's my Ghostbuster and Christmas, because yes, absolutely.
Dig it.
DK World Tour hopped in. He says, "I'm in a sauna." Gross. But he does like my Ghostbuster shirt. More people saying hi. Somebody, so My Wings Up Photography said, "I'm so chill that I can listen to your story and do my homework." Oh, I appreciate that. Paul says, "Never gets old watching Kekoa kick ass in MCW." I thought, thank you guys. See, so like these are the types of things, like people talk about the highs, like it's always a high, because
it really is.
Like, my wife joined for some reason, and
like
she's 5 feet that way. Why? What?
Love you, Sam. Miss you.
Well, she's listening, so
I know. That's why I was like, she could. Since you said she's tuned in, I'm gonna tell her I love her, miss her. Like I miss all of you guys, like without a doubt. I'm trying to literally get done work early on the 30th to drive down to MCW.
Body Slam. I like seeing guys working out in the ring before the show, and I pick out which online store they bought from. Yeah, that's a solid thing. Elucha and High Spots, number 1 and 2, always going to be number 1 and 2.
All right, biggest pet peeve for you, would it be the guy not wiping his feet getting into the ring, not shaking hands with everybody in the locker room when they get there, or C, not talking to the vet and asking them the questions about, things that they could do in the ring, or asking them to listen into what their match is?
I would say none of them. None of those out of those three are any of my biggest pet peeves, because one, like the shoe thing, wiping your feet. Yeah, you should be doing that. And if you don't remember, like, I'm not gonna flip out about it, but because the reason that I say I'm not gonna flip out about it is because the mat that we're probably wrestling on hasn't been cleaned in, since it got made. So is it really going to make that much of a difference? Probably not. That's why I shower very vigorously afterwards. So it doesn't bug me too much. But again, it should be done. I point it out when I see it, but I don't hunt for it by any means. The shaking hands thing, that has never bothered me. And the main reason why it's never bothered me is because I don't remember who the fuck I've shaken hands with. And I'm not going to hit 10 guys on this side and then go to the other side, and then all of a sudden 2 sneak in and they're like, oh my God, how does he not run across the damn building to come shake my hand? Shut the fuck up. Shut up. I will see you at some point and say hello. And if you look like somebody too, and I'm like, did I say hi to you? I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. Did I say hi to you? Good to see you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's not be so fucking uptight about dumb little shit like that. So no, that doesn't bother me either. People not asking for advice. It slightly annoys me, but I wouldn't say it's one of my biggest pet peeves, because again, if you're not asking for help, then that just tells me how seriously you take this business. And then that just tells me that we're just not on the same level of the mindset of this might be a hobby to you, but this is me trying to get a job. So then I can't compare us, because we're two different people. And the other comparison that I have said multiple times is, if Kobe Bryant, and I'm just going to keep going with Kobe because I'm a mark. If Kobe Bryant came off the Lakers and played against high school kids, it's not the same thing. And I'm not calling me Kobe. I'm not calling them, high school kids. I'm saying he is a professional in the NBA, and that's his mindset, and that's the level that he wants to be at.
Yep.
Some people just want to play high school basketball. That's fine. So people that want to just be on the indies, perfectly fine. People that just want to wrestle on the weekends and that's it, in their hometown, one show a month, perfectly fine. Welcome to the business. But we're two different people. So when that happens and people don't do that, I'm like, okay, we're not on the same mindset. So it still annoys me by all means, because I want more people to care. I want more people to learn. But again, I have to let it go. What I would say my biggest pet peeve is, or some of the biggest pet peeves is, one, people just don't helping out with the ring. Because I think that until somebody actually runs their own show and realizes how much of a team effort it is to actually do all that, or if you don't have a team and you're staying until fucking midnight trying to take down this ring with one other guy or 2 other guys and that's it, that's a big pet peeve to me. Being a gentleman overall is a big pet peeve to me. If you're not, obviously. To give you an instance, one show where we were renting out my ring to a company in New York, it was down 2 flights of stairs, the gym was underground, in this high school, because it's New York City. There's obviously it's not a big building, so they have to go down, right? So the gym was 2 floors down. We're carrying the big frame up 2 flights of stairs. My 145-pound 5'1" wife is carrying this heavy ass metal up 2 flights of stairs, and there's 2 big motherfuckers at the top of the steps that have now seen us do multiple trips up and down, and they work their tag match, and they're superstars, and they can't grab a board, or they can't grab anything. But it really makes me mad when you're sitting there watching it go by. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
Now on top of it, are you not helping? You see it and you're still not helping. That shit pisses me off. Or when we're trying to break down the ring and people are standing around talking and you're in the fucking way. Get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people are trying to do their job. If you don't want to do it, then go. Like, get out of here. Those types of things. People are just like being ignorant to the situation. Those types of things I will be mad about.
Oh, that's one of
Not the petty little things.
my biggest pet peeve is the exact same thing. 100% biggest pet peeve is that. You know, I was trained by Mark and Troy Mass. Like, they have years of experience. And the biggest thing is, if you're on a show, help out if you can. Whether it's doing the ring, setting chairs up, whatever, lend a hand before or after. Hell, I asked you to if I could lend you a hand on the first show you ever ran up here in PA.
Yeah, and you weren't even on it.
I wasn't on the show.
No.
Wasn't booked. Didn't ask to work the show. Said, "Hey, Kay, wanted to know if I can come up and lend you a hand and make sure your show works." And you were like, "Yeah." Someone bailed on the show. You asked if I wanted to wrestle. Okay, I have my gear. I know to bring my gear.
Yeah.
But that you gave me an opportunity, and then it kept happening. You know, I stayed for the show. I helped set up. I helped tear down. I didn't, and I had a 2.5 hour drive home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
yeah, it's stuff like that, or you know, people being like dirty in the locker room.
Oh, dude, I can't stand. No, that's the bit. I can't. My bit. That's one of. So at ACPW, and I said this to Tyreno and them. I have no disrespect to any of them, but I hated the fact that everybody would just throw the wrist tape and the trash on the ground and roll out. So then you leave the entire show. You leave the person, the promoter, the booker, and the 4 students that are all the students that are tearing down and the ones that are not, to clean up your locker room now. Which it's like, dude, it's not hard to take your wrist tape and throw it in the trash can right behind the locker room.
Yeah, and these things that I get mad about they're not stupid little wrestling rules. Like they're it tells me more about you as a person. Now the wiping the feet thing, it's courtesy to others. Yeah, you can always say those types of things, but again, like this falls under more of your character. To go back to Body Slam had asked if Work Rate Training Center was going to be, right there. Will the Work Rate Training Center reopen in Florida? As of right now, I don't have any plans on doing that because I'm so focused on getting to that next level. Not that I wasn't before, but with where I am now and what I'm doing in Florida and what my time is being put towards, I don't want to take time away from what I'm working towards to focusing on others, because then, to also flip it, like I feel terrible that I up and left Pennsylvania and just closed everything, was like, okay, I'm moving to Florida, but that's where life took me. So I felt terrible that, I did that and I had the school and things were going fine and we were doing shows and everything like that. But it was also kind of a blessing that COVID happened the way and the timing that it did, because then it led to everything. But as of right now, no, I don't have any plans. I don't think I will, unless it kind of like falls into my lap again. And probably until I'm past what I feel is like, okay, the window's closed, I'm never getting signed by this point. Like, I'm too old. I feel like that's when I would revisit that idea.
That's fair enough, statement there. Like, as much as I would love to see you have Work Rate open back up and see you, put shows on like you did up here to where it's ran professionally and ran the proper way and the right way and everything makes sense. Whatever it happens, I'm there, whether, it's just to help you do stuff backstage or whatever. I'm always going to be there for you.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. We take care of your son's Tommy Vex up here.
I have no idea who that is.
I don't either.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
a funny
know.
name.
Yeah.
I thought is it like Tommy Gun? I don't know.
But that's the other problem too, is like I don't know as many people down here. So also to have a team of people that I trust is I have to get to that point. And that's why like a lot of people are like, it seems like you're wrestling up north more than you're wrestling here. And I'm like, well, there's 2 reasons for that. One, because again, MCW is number 1, and it's hard to find a promotion that I feel is going to help me and not just take bumps off my card. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just I'm so focused on the next level right now that it's not like I'm scared of bumps by any means, but I don't want to go and do something that I just feel like is going to. And now, especially because I have a daughter,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like, my two focus is on making sure that I'm providing for the family. She's providing for the family / she's healthy. I get to spend time with the family, whatever. And again, getting to that next level. So if it's going to interfere with one of those things and I don't feel that it's worth it at that point, then okay, like I have to put my eggs into the baskets that I feel are going to be worth it. So if a company is reaching out to me and they're like, hey, you want to drive 14 hours for $50? No, absolutely not.
No.
Like, when I was 10 years younger, absolutely. You know what I mean? But by this point, with the amount of training that I do get to do and the amount of shows that I get to do, no, like I'm good. I'll take the weekend and spend home with my baby.
Like, I remember driving all the way down to Mount Airy for I want to say it was either the first or the second Crazy 8 tournament. Wrestled Friday night and Saturday night for $0. You know, because I wanted I didn't know I was going to not get paid, but they didn't draw, so I can't tell the promoter you have to pay me. You know, it's one of those, they didn't make money. You know, unfortunately, and at the same time, it was exposure for me. I had a good time. I got to meet Cedric Alexander, who I've become good friends with, and I love the fact that where he's gone with his career. You know, again, goes back to you. Like, I can't wait. I'm hoping it happens because I want to see you on the TV more, and fulfilling that goal and that dream that you've had to be there. You know, you've been. Let's see. I've seen you do stuff. Maurice as the karate instructor. I've seen you do the WWE Underground stuff. I've seen you do AEW. I just want to see it be permanent now, and it's not to say I know you. It's to see the fact that all the hard work, all the long drives, all the lack of sleep, the training you've done has finally paid off to an extent because you keep bringing up Kobe and I'll bring up a Kobe thing. And I saw it this week or last week. One of the guys talked about Kobe Bryant, about how they got to the facility for their game against the Lakers, and Kobe was in the gym and the gymnasium practicing free throws and 3-pointers. He said he worked out for about an hour. He leaves. Kobe's still working out. He comes back 2 hours later, and Kobe's still working. Like, that's that drive that Kobe had. He was always looking for perfection. He was never satisfied with anything because he didn't feel like he hit perfection. That's that drive he had. That's the drive you have. That's the drive a lot of us have. Because I'll never have a perfect match in my mind. People could say it was perfect, but I'll be like, nah, it was all right. Something was off. I don't know what was off, but I'm going to watch it, and then I'm going to figure out what I did wrong.
Yeah, and again, it's just I feel like a lot of times when I talk to different guys about training and diet, lifting, all these types of things, it's like, well, just don't lie to yourself, because if you're going to lie to yourself and say, my diet's on point, my cardio's on point, and then it's when you're put into that situation and someone can tell that like it's clearly not, like, just don't lie to yourself, so you're only hurting yourself at that point.
Yeah, I know my diet, my cardio is all out the door because I can't use the gym because I work, my hours are just insane. So if I go to the gym, I can't even get a half hour in the gym. But once me and Nina move closer to the gym, then it'd be different because I have to pass it to get to work. Plus the gym at the hotel, at the apartment complex is open 24 hours. So
all right,
then I can just go to the gym at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Ready for this?
Oh,
is the next thing. How far do you have to drive to do a burpee?
Nowhere. It's in my house.
Exactly.
No, I know.
That's always my next thing.
True.
When people say like, hey, I don't have time, like, okay, well, either you get up early or you get up early or you stay up later. Or if you don't have the time to drive for whatever reason, I don't have a car, I can't get there, or I can't afford a gym membership. Okay, then you're gonna have to figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
So
no, 100%.
Yeah.
I want to be in the gym. I do. I'm afraid to have one of the issues that I've been having with my head lately of being in the gym and it popping up. So I have to hold off because safety wise, like, and again, everybody's surprised that I took me out of the ring. I just canceled all my bookings for next year, and it was a lot of money that I was counting on. But I tell people, I go, my main goal is safety, not just for me, but for my opponent. If I can't if I know mentally that I don't feel like I'm going to be able to keep you safe in the ring with me, that I have to permanently sideline myself until I know that I'm clear and I get told nothing's wrong. That's just me. I've always, and I never listened to doctors in the beginning. Now I have to, because I have a little girl just like you. I have a family. I got bills to pay. But coming up, since we keep bringing up MCW and you have a lot of MCW fans and family chiming in here, unfortunately, the sad news was MCW's last call. They announced that they are going to be moving from their facility they've been in for years upon years. And you're going to go out with a bang. You're the Rage TV Championship match, and you're going up against, without a doubt, another rising star in professional wrestling, Brandon Scott, who has been all over as well, just like you. You guys have both been fighting to be the top guy in this company. So give us your thoughts on this, man. Like, what do you like? And I know it's probably not going to be the first time you face Brandon Scott, and it's definitely not going to be the last time you guys will face each other.
No.
You guys have history here.
Yeah. Brandon and I went toe to toe multiple times and in multi-man matches. So yeah, it's obviously very familiar, but no, man, I feel like that's definitely if there was two matches that if I was the booker, once they announced that MCW was closing the doors, I'm like, okay, well, there's two matches that I think that I would have, and one of them, was with Dante, but Dante's in the four-way to potentially be for the heavyweight championship. So I'm like, okay, well, there goes that one. So then my next would have been Brandon Scott, as far as like my guess, because if we're gonna close the doors in Joppa, and we're gonna give them like, hey, here's some matchups or people that have made the building to what it is and has helped MCW, then yeah, absolutely, it would be me and Brandon Scott, because we've done it numerous amounts of times. So yeah, it's only fitting.
Oh, it definitely is fitting. Like, and it's sad because I haven't had the opportunity to make it down to MCW. Because every time they do run a show, I'm either booked somewhere, or I'm working, or I have my daughter, and it drives me nuts because it's still one of those facilities. It's like going to the Monster Factory. They're so well known. They're so big of a name. It's one of those experiences you can't get with the fans base. Like MCW gives the fans, without a doubt, in my opinion, from videos I've seen, from people I've heard from, not just from you but other guys, MCW provides the fans, without a doubt, the best entertainment in that area. Like MCW does, no one can do what MCW does, just like no one can do what PPW does up here in PA. MCW is Maryland wrestling. Like everybody in Maryland talks about MCW.
I mean, and I would argue that MCW is beyond that, because of there's so much other aspects and content that MCW does specifically that other indie companies just don't do. Like the stuff that MCW does is WWE level type, AEW level type of content, where we're filming studio matches to help build students, or to help build newer talent, to get them incorporated in MCW. Like we have our own podcast, like we were doing those specials during COVID to make sure that we were still putting out content for the fans. We have the regular MCW shows, we do vignettes for the Trons and everything of that sort. Like there's so much beyond MCW than just putting on a regular show, that I would make that argument of like, I don't think there is another company that's on MCW's level that's not a major player.
No, and I won't even argue that one. Like without a doubt, can't argue it, hands down. I agree with you.
I don't know of another company off the top of my head that does the amount of content that MCW does, the amount of work that MCW does. And this is also, with their training school and with the birthday parties that they're constantly doing for families around the neighborhood, like it's just nonstop. So every time that I fly up there, I'm like, okay, well, is there anything else going on? Like, do you need me for anything else? Like, I'm up here. Like, let's
do something.
like, yeah, let's, you know what I mean? So like I did the last show. I flew in the morning of. I did the show on the Saturday, and then there was a birthday party the next day. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still here. Let's do it. So
I'll fly out after.
Yeah, I flew out right after. I think it ended around like 3:30. My flight was at 5:30.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember a gentleman in Trip WA named Frankie Frizzo.
That sounds familiar.
So Patrick Bernard is Frankie Frizzo.
09. He looks very familiar.
I'll send you a photo. What do you look?
If I saw the gimmick, man, that sounds so familiar though.
Oh, it definitely would be when you see his face.
I'm terrible at that stuff. But no, he looks familiar. Like the name is hitting there. But yeah, if I haven't seen you since 09, shit.
It's a long time. Like, he's trying to make you actually, think back to like the wonder years.
Dude, I told a friend of mine something today, and she's like, "Yeah, you told me that yesterday," and I'm like, never mind. Like, it's that type of shit. I'm terrible. I'm just terrible.
Dude, I do that every day at work.
Yeah.
Every time we have a new guy, I'm like, I say something with them when they're with us, and then I'll say it again the next day. They go, "Hey, you kind of told us that yesterday." I'm like, I know. I'm gonna say it like probably 5 times.
Yeah, and I usually, anytime I tell a story to somebody, I start to feel like I don't know if I'm feeling like I deja vu because I told you this story or I've just told this story before. So I'm always like, just cut me off. If I ever heard it, just boot.
So we've been on for an hour. I know we discussed it would probably be about a 45-minute episode. Sometimes they run longer because we get into those flows and we just keep going.
Yeah.
But I know there was someone in here that said hi to you earlier that they can't wait for the show.
Justin?
No, it was somebody else.
They can't wait for the 30th.
It was like a Danielle.
Oh, okay, yeah. Danielle, yeah, I know who Danielle is.
Yep, right there. Danielle Davis.
Yeah, so Danielle is actually somebody, and Isaiah's her son. So that was the birthday party that I was at.
Oh, wow. Okay, look at that.
Yeah.
Already chiming in, watching you talk. See that, and again, those are the moments that I love. It's the small things. It really is for me.
She sent me a picture of me and her son from like the first show that they came to and got to meet me, and then up until the birthday party, and you see the size difference of only a couple years. So it's stuff like that, man, that always gets me. Like I have another friend of mine who has been watching me since she was 7-8 years old, I think, and now and that was year 1. So now 15 years later she's a freaking adult, and it's
Dude,
I'm still here.
Look, I remember we had Amber Rodriguez on a couple weeks ago, and I've known her before she got into the wrestling business. So for me, it was like, this is someone that I've known for 14 years, and now I get to see her live her dream while she's killing it.
Yeah.
There's another gentleman named Dakota Snyder that trains at the dungeon with Mark and Troy Mass that I've known since he's been like, I want to say 7 or 8. Because he was coming to LVW. He's related to Molson. And he always wanted to wrestle. And I'm one of the guys that was like, look, if you want to do it, there's 3 schools to go to within driving distance of you.
Yeah.
No one in Allentown anymore besides the Samoans. And he was like, you know what?
And they're not even there anymore.
Yeah. So he was like, I'm not going to go there. He showed up at the dungeon. I didn't even know he's coming to try out. I was like the happiest adult ever. Like, it was my kid's first day of school.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I get to help him.
Yeah.
And I got to be part of he was on one of the DEF CON shows that never got aired because we lost the footage. And then I finally just found all the SD cards that we did a special during Halloween and during the tapings. And he wrestled. And it was the funniest thing ever because he got destroyed. And it wasn't even my booking. Mark and them all booked it. And it was the funniest thing because I'm outside cooking spaghetti for the whole guys, because it was like they wanted spaghetti that night. So all I hear is the entire place going nuts. I go in and they go, he killed Dakota. Like, what do you mean he killed the kid? He's not allowed to kill the kid. But the kid loved it. So it was great. Renegades of the Ring. Yep. So your next show that you have, I believe, after December 30th is your January 9th show.
Yep.
Which is my birthday. Which, unfortunately you won't be able to come to my birthday party, man. I had balloon bounces and, pinatas and llamas and stuff. It's cool. Wrestling comes first. So I don't know much about D3. So I can't really give what I know, but so give us some rundown here, man.
So D3, another rising star on the independent circuit. He's done a lot of AEW stuff. He did a lot of stuff with them during the COVID year. He is phenomenal. Great dude overall. And he had put out a promo the other day, and everything that he said was exactly right. Him and I have known each other for quite some time. I definitely consider him, a good brother inside and outside of the ring because we have so much in common. We're both trying to get to that next level, so we automatically connect. We are both girl dads, automatically connect. We just have such a passion for wrestling, and we also have a passion for our culture and like who we represent. Him and where he's come from, and man, he's like a superstar over there. I see there's so many articles from his country that are being written about him and how well he's doing, and he earns all of that. Very happy for him that he's done so well. But now this will be the first time that we actually ever get to work. We've worked for PPW, for many years, and now Pro Wrestling Action. So I'm very excited. I definitely think it's going to be the Steeler. Because I think it's just going to click. I think it's going to click. I think it's going to be well. So I think the people of Florida are going to enjoy that one.
Are you? And I would ask, are you going to be? And that Dave, I will definitely ask that question. Is there any way that you might possibly live stream any of these matches? If fans wanted to watch these matches, is there a way that people might be live streaming? Or are they going to be on IWTV?
No, MCW doesn't, because we have our own network. It's MCW Rage TV. You can get it on the Roku. If you have that, you can download the app, or you could subscribe onto their website. If you just type in a Google search MCW Rage TV, it'll pop up for you. So MCW won't live stream. Pro Wrestling Action does not live stream either, but they do upload to their YouTube channel, so you can definitely check out every show soon after the event airs. Now this Hannibal thing, I actually haven't followed up with the exact details of it. I know that I guess he attacked the referee and like legit like grabbing him with something.
So I've watched the video because like everybody's been blowing the internet about this shoot that happened. From what it looked like is apparently the referee he's hired because he bleeds.
Okay.
That's
the
what
referee
he
bleeds.
Yeah, so he's paid to be that referee that if they beat him down, he'll whatever. And there's parts in the video you kind of see that happen.
The referee gigs.
Yeah, dude, I was dumbfounded when I heard this too. And this is from what Hannibal says. Okay, so Hannibal says this guy was booked because that's what he gets paid to do. He gets paid to bleed.
Okay.
But his excuse for using the spike was he didn't know he was actually stabbing the guy because he couldn't see out of his mask.
Okay.
You can see that he's shaving him and stuff, or with whatever, like he's trying to like cut him and everything with the thing. But I mean, he's full-fledged like stabbing him with this spike. And then his other thing was he's never handled a spike before. It's the same spike that Kevin Sullivan and them used with Butcher. Like,
then why are you doing it?
Exactly. One, if you've never used a certain thing, you shouldn't be touching it. First off, if you don't know what to do with it. Second off, the lamest excuse I've ever heard was I couldn't see out the mask. And why were you wearing a mask? But again, there's so many stories with it. Like the Miz was just asked about it. And the Miz was kind of like
banned from wrestling.
Yeah, that like
I think that's what I heard.
yeah. So it's like if people were told to kayfabe too. Everybody was being, the cops were called. They were telling the cops they were told to kayfabe the cops, and the one people were like, "No, this was the dude tried to kill the guy accidentally. Like whether he meant to do it or not, it
Yeah.
happened. Like
Yeah.
it happened. You almost killed the guy. You cut his artery in his head. Now there's lacerations all over his head, and all types of crazy shit happened. You know, but I will say, like in the video, they do show you like the person he does let go. He gets put into a chokehold. He realized, okay, I need to let go, and he stopped doing it. So it wasn't like he kept doing it consistently after people try to break it up. But I
I
mean,
don't
dude,
care.
it was brutal, especially when they tried to drag the referee out of the ring, and I mean, it was just covered. It was like Devon Dudley when he got busted open in Impact back in, I want to say, 2000 and between 04 or 06, their time, because I was in high school at the time down in Florida when this all went down, and I mean they thought he was going to bleed out.
I'll have to
Because
ask him about it.
there's a match where he literally is bleeding too much in the ring.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what year it was. I really can't. I just remember it was Impact, and he got cut on his head, and it was just too
I'll
much.
have to ask him about it. Yeah, it's funny because now, like, I don't know it. I don't know. I guess it's because like now that I go to the school and I've been there for a little bit now, but I feel like a lot more Devon clips are popping up, or a lot more Devon stuff just pops up on my feed.
Yes,
and then when I see him, I'm like it was funny, like when the article came out about him and the crush he had on Stephanie, and I forget whatever we were talking about at the school that day. And I was like, yeah, just be careful, because otherwise there's going to be more articles coming out about you, Devon. And he's just like, you know what? That fucking like. So
Devon's an awesome guy. I remember
yeah.
he worked an LCW show in Lancaster, and it was me, Mark, the guys in charge, and we all went to a restaurant. He's like, "Can I come out and eat with you guys?" Okay. I didn't care. I just want food.
Yeah.
And
he's very chill.
I asked him right there on the spot. This is when Gut Check first was really coming out, and everybody's really jumping on the board. I was like, Devon, what's your thoughts on Gut Check? He goes, it's a scam. He goes, it's a great opportunity. You're still going to get this, meet producers and train, and they're going to get to see you, but you're not getting signed. He goes, no one's getting signed. The only people that are getting signed is people they've already known and have been looking at that came to it, that they invited to it, and they didn't pay to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, fair enough. I appreciate the you literally were like, here's you put your face here, I'm punching you.
Yeah.
But still go for it. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, because I got accepted, I'm gonna pay to go, but I wanted your opinion because you're there, and I wanted to know what you actually thought. He goes, it's kind of like going down to the at the time when WWE was doing tryouts. You never paid for it.
Yeah.
But the chance of you getting signed from a tryout out of 100 people, you have a 1 in 100 chance.
Yeah.
The Gut Check, there were 60 of us. Was I getting signed out of 60? Hell no. Did I have a hope that I could? Absolutely. I gave everything I had. Sign guy told a story on 23 about the fake snake story with Devon. That is a funny story. That is a good story to ask Devon about.
Yeah.
But going back to the past you doing this for so long, and now you're living in Florida. You're in the main capital of professional wrestling. I'm going to say it that way. Florida is the capital of professional wrestling, and it has ever since the Performance Center opened up in Florida. The talent pool that's down there. Now, you've worked a bunch of shows all up and down the East Coast, all over the country. You're working shows down there. What is the biggest difference you see from talent from Florida compared to talent from up north?
I'd say it's the same. I wouldn't say that people are better or worse. I think it's the same. The people that are on that level, that I think on that same type of level of mindset that I am, are few and far between. There's definitely some down here. And that's a great thing to see. But again, I've just been more focused on just what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, like I got to work Jake Tucker. So Jake Tucker is, I think, one of those guys that's on that level because he's very young in the business, but he's gotten to learn from amazing people. I'm pretty sure he came from Kane and Pritchard School. So now he's down here, and then he gets to train at the Workhorse with Natalie Neihart and Tyson Kidd. So he's getting like how much better of an opportunity, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you couldn't have been dealt better cards, man. Like
No.
yeah, like so it was great to work with him because it was easy because he has such great training and he's talented. Like he's definitely gonna make it. There's another a buddy of mine, Andy Brown, who is actually from California that moved over here. He's super talented. There's so many talented kids coming out of Devon's school, and a lot of them are getting signed. So like they don't even they're just getting shipped right off. So that's the other thing that sucks for me is like, okay, here's my options. Oh, they're gone. They're going to be gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's at least good to see. So I think I wouldn't say that again that there's more or less. I think they're more spread out in the New York, Pennsylvania, because again, like that area is also close to each other.
Yep.
And Florida is a massive state, so I think it's hard to like. Is it the same, or is it just it just seems like we're all more remote because of how like, oh yeah, it's Florida, but again, Jersey to Pennsylvania is right there. So it's it's literally like me going from one part of Florida to another is the same distance, if not longer than it would take me from Allentown to like the eastern side of Atlantic City or something of that sort. But there's absolutely great talent down here. And I hope that obviously I'm going to see them all down the road, but yeah, everything's been going good, especially at Devon School, which I'm excited. I haven't been there as much as I've wanted to the past couple months, just because of scheduling issues of like how they set up their time, and then like by the time I would have gotten there, and I don't want to take time away from the students.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I also don't want to like take a crazy amount of bumps by any means. I want to focus more on the cardio aspect, but I actually just talked to Devon this week, so I'm going to be implementing my kind of like my own sessions on Sundays with the students. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna see Devon on Saturday, so it'll be
Where
fun.
the hell is he going to be?
He's gonna be at Icons Wrestling on Saturday.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yep. Him and Bubba's there because he's facing Jerry King. And then they just announced that Devon's gonna be there. So I'm kind of like, okay.
So when you see Devon, just be like, just kick Kekoa out of your school. Just don't let him be there.
Okay, you do know that I will do that.
Yeah, I know you'll say it, but
I'll walk right up and be like, hey, so I just had Kekoa on the show.
Yeah,
man, so disrespectful about
what
the
a piece
school.
of shit he is.
He talks so much bad stuff about your show off air. You might want to kick him out of the school.
He just trashed your school all over my podcast.
He'll be like, I won't lie. If he picks up his phone to call you, I'm filming it. I will legit start filming it and be like,
I'll FaceTime him right now.
The greatest thing ever. But no, so like again, I lived in Orlando. I lived in Tampa, so I understand the whole how wrestling down there compared up here is. They're all to me, it is exactly what you said. It's there's no real big difference. It's just more spread out because of how big Florida is compared to here's PA, New York, Maryland, Jersey, Delaware, Ohio. You have all these states surrounding you that have wrestling galore in every one of them. So you have places you can go within a 5-hour drive, and there's 5 wrestling shows within 5 hours.
Yeah, and I also wonder. I've started to gather this too about Florida because everything is so close, and these are like a lot more major cities. That if something is an hour away, I feel like that's too far for most Floridians. Like when I talk about driving 35, 40 minutes to like, or excuse me, when people talk about driving 35, 40 minutes to work, they're like, oh my God, that's way too far. And I'm like, I feel like that's normal. But so I feel like there's not more shows because in like closer proximity because of two reasons. One, because I think a lot of people just won't drive that far, even if it's only an hour. And also because of just how highly populated it is, so you can still take advantage even if there is another show nearby, because there's just so many freaking people here. It's not like the Poconos where you only have 1,000 people and that's it. Like you gotta try to reach to those 1,000 or whatever. So yeah, it's a different aspect, but it's still the same.
Yeah. Oh no, I can totally understand that. Like, I started training from learning from a security guard that worked for TNA. At the time, out of a gym, small Gold's gym that was so run down, I didn't want to go back into, but I didn't care because I just wanted to wrestle. And then the school closed, but I was already part of the the street team for TNA, and got to meet a lot of people in the higher ups. But the same thing that all the talent from back then, like Kid Cash and all them, were always saying, the guys down here, they're Florida. Again, the whole Florida guy thing.
Yeah.
I get where that's been being said since 2002. It's a Florida. They're Florida. They're a Florida wrestler. Like, so what do you mean by that?
Maybe I wasn't too far off then.
No, you're really not. It's just a lot of them. The shows are so far spread out. Like if you're in Orlando, from Orlando, the end of to like the beginning of Georgia is like an hour and a half, give or take, depending on traffic.
Yeah.
So if you want to drive to Georgia, it's an hour and a half. In PA, if you live in like Pottstown, it takes me an hour to get to Philly. Another 10 minutes, and I'm over there at Super Crazy.
Yeah.
And then another 15 minutes down the road, I'm in Paulsboro. So.
Delaware.
There's 4 shows within an hour and 10 minutes, or you have one show and an hour drive, and then another show an hour after that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Again, it is a Florida thing. It's just the drive.
It is what it is. Yeah.
It's just that drive. It is what it is. You're right. If you could take out of all your matches you've had in 14 years, all the most memorable moment, like what was you said one of your biggest moments was like when being on one of the big companies, winning the MCW heavyweight championship, that's a huge accomplishment. There's not a lot of guys that have won that championship at all. Like they probably, I want to say maybe less than 15. If
I wouldn't know.
I don't know. Like I know 4 of them. So I can't really name them. I can't name everybody that I've ever heard of. If you could pick any moment in your entire career that stands out the most, not as a high or a low, but most memorable moment, what would you say that is?
It's again because I put so many different things on different pedestals for different reasons. Like I wrestled Caveman Chad, JC Wessler, my buddy Chad, whatever. I wrestled Chad at the Garfield Hotel where him and I used to go and watch indie shows when we were in middle school. So that was a cool moment for me. Getting to wrestle Joey on Work Rate after we built that match up for a year. Cool moment for me. Being able to run my own show and have me and Aiden Chambers come back as the dream team to face Fusion DS, Damian Dragon, and Matt Saigon. Cool moment for me that officially retired the both of them. But then Matt coming back, and then I officially retired him again in Atlantic City in his hometown. Cool moment for me. Being on the last Underground, cool moment for me. Like winning the ECWA Heavyweight Championship, cool moment for me. Beating Papa Don when he was unstoppable in that company for the longest time, cool moment for me. Being my debut match in MCW on the 4 Horsemen show and my very first attempt at MCW, cool moment for me. Like different things, different reasons. So it's gonna be hard. Even if I were to one day win the heavyweight championship of AEW or WWE one day, to me it's like all of these other moments that I've gotten to do are still going to be on the cool moment, like bookshelf, but they're going to be for different reasons. Like, of course, that one's, going to be a little bit more elevated because of how monumental being able to obtain that goal is. But again, all of these other things are still super important to me.
No, that's Chio, I hate you. I hope you choke on that food you were eating there, man.
I got wrestling the atomic dog bad moment. I mean, at least he was the majority of the time. I'm talking to my Instagram. You were at least in the main event, and I was, jerking the curtain. So, at least that was easy. But go on. So what's Chio?
Chio said lowest moment being on the podcast. LOL. Just kidding. Kay don't even have anything to say.
It's not working anymore. It's just not
working. Oh man, see, Chio, you just buried yourself there, man, with that golden shovel that you have. This is the kind of stuff that I got to put up with here. Chio making jokes in the chat room, but
oh hey, the mic's working again.
Oh, look at that! See, it's just the magic of keeping Chio off the show.
Yeah.
And he goes, Sammy, unplug the mic. He's blaming the wife.
I think she's asleep. I think she's in bed already.
Well, you guys both work long hours. Like, you guys both have 2 long, drooling, not bad jobs, but good jobs that, keep a roof over you and your family's head, and living in Florida.
It's a long day.
It is a long day. So it's, it's just a normal American, work your butt off and, and enjoy the comforts of your own home with your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, since the lows and highs, like I understand that you can't really, it's hard to pick what the bad is because even the lows are good.
Mm-hmm.
And the most memorable moment, like they're everywhere. Like
I've never had to face Dennis Draper in a singles, so
thank God. That is a good moment because I would probably get blown up and throw up.
There's not enough squat belts I can wear. There's not enough backpacks in the world that are strong enough for that fucking thing.
That'd be a bad match. I'd probably tap out in 30 seconds. But no, that is a match. I will say this: if I'm able to get back in the ring and I get back into the tip-top shape that I used to be, like when you first met me, and I could actually, wrestle for 30 minutes without being blown and looking like drizzling dog crap, I do want to face you. Like, you are one of the guys on my list that when I do decide that I want to hang my boots up, like you are on the list of guys that I want to be able to say, I've got to work. We've got to kill it. We got to have fun, and I could be happy with it. Like, if I shit the bed, I shit the bed. That's all on me. I hope it'll never happen. Like when the whole Jimmy Ray thing. Like, me and him.
Dennis would only last 3 minutes like that in one match. Hey, that is a compliment for him. Okay,
that is a compliment, Kenny. Kenny, listen here, Mr. Kenny.
You have way too high expectations.
You're my personal ref here. You shouldn't be talking smack. You won't get booked no more. That was still the best line ever. Like, Kenny, everywhere I go, everybody goes, "Oh, Dennis brought his ref." What?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I didn't bring my ref.
You bring that ref?
I'm on the show. He's on the show. We just drive together. It's just easy carpool. But it was awesome that you were able, me, when you posted about you were leading referees for your show, I was like, hey, I have 2 guys, Kenny and this guy. But I would pick Kenny over everybody else any day of the year. Yeah, Kenny, damn, man, you screwed me up on that one because that was good. That was a good one-liner. That is the best compliment I got all day.
I think you're about to take it home.
I was going to almost. We've been going an hour and a half here.
Yeah.
And I know you got to get up early for work. I got to get up early for work. Well, you got to get up earlier for job 1, which is the gym, and then your job.
Gym skis.
Yes. So if there's anything you want to plug, any other shows besides those 2, I know we have on the bottom, we have all your social medias. We have your pro wrestling tees, which people, if you want t-shirts, trust me, Kekoa's t-shirts are pretty much top of the line. Designs are pretty dope as hell. I literally just showed my girlfriend one that I'm probably going to buy.
And two new ones are going to be dropping this week. I just haven't uploaded it to the website yet.
I'll have to show you the logo to the new Dennis Reaper t-shirt, which just got sent to us, and I think is awesome as hell, but only for t-shirts, not gear.
Chio told me about it. He told me it was canceled.
Oh, wouldn't be surprised. It's not a it's not a podcast one that he just keeps stealing off the internet and using other people's logos, but it's cool. But
as far as plug or say anything, we've talked about it. We got last call on December 30th for MCW. We're moving out of Joppa, so come say goodbye to MCW. At least in that building, by all means. We have Pro Wrestling Action coming up January 9th, where I face D3. Very excited for that first time ever match. But overall, anything else that I want to plug or talk about? I mean, something that I've had a tendency to do on any time that I've been a guest on people's podcasts, which before I forget, obviously, thank you for having me on. Always appreciate people even asking and caring for whatever 2 cents that I actually have to say for some reason. But I'm always the type of person, if you haven't watched my Twitch handle, which we do, well, we're on hold right now because we did season 1, but season 2 is going to be coming back in January, and we'll announce that. It's our Mana Motivation. It's for me to help anybody that's just down, because I think what happens a lot of times is, people look at wrestlers as like these superheroes, or they look at them as like, man, how are they doing so great, and like, what am I doing wrong, or something of that sort. And I try to give everybody like the realism of like, hey, we're all people too. Like, we all go through depression, we all go through our ups and downs and stuff like that. And I think if more people kind of pushed away the social media aspect, because we only obviously post the good things, and a lot of people don't post the bad things. And I like to obviously do both, because again, I want people to know, like, yeah, one, we're all human, and maybe they're going to see like, okay, well, if they're going through the same things that I'm going through, then it would help me get through what I'm going through. Like, if they can do it, I can do it, because I look up to them. And I've been fortunate that a lot of people have told me that they look up to me and they listen to me for what I say. So that's a blessing in its own, and it comes with great responsibility. Sorry, super Spider-Man plug. But no, overall, I'm always about positivity, and I'm always about again, looking at the other side of things. So if you haven't joined Mana Motivation stream before, please do when we come back, and follow me on social media in order to see when we come back. But as far as again, transitioning into that, about anything that I normally say is, this is a moment where, like, we don't know if tomorrow is guaranteed. A lot of people know the saying, like, tomorrow's never guaranteed. Live, you only live once. Live today like there is no tomorrow. There's those sayings for a reason. And anytime that I have a microphone in front of me and people are watching me, I like to remind people of that please, like, time is never promised on this earth. And if this is the last time that for whatever reason that you guys hear from me, or play this in my tribute video, but thank you guys so much for ever listening to me, or paying for a ticket for a show, paying for a t-shirt to ever come watch me, watching this podcast, and supporting this for them as well, supporting my social media, anything. Thank you guys so much for even caring for anything that I have to do, and it's still mind-boggling to me when people have told me that they've been watching me for years, or they drive hours to come see me. It makes no sense to me, and I don't think it ever will, and that's a good thing. And I can only hope that that carries over into the next step of my line of work, of wherever I may be. So thank you all. I appreciate it.
Okay, I want to, yep. And there's Kenny. Kenny's saying thank you for the opportunities you gave him at your shows that you ran when you were up here, and that's the respect that, we all have for you, Kay. Like, it's not that you had to give anybody opportunities, they were given an opportunity, but they earned it as well, because absolutely, enough people were recommending these people. I don't recommend just anybody to be on shows. Like, I literally recommend people that I believe, deserve that opportunity and should have that opportunity. But, thank you, Kay, for coming on the show, man. Again, I've known you for 14 years. There's nothing that I don't see you being able to accomplish. And it was no better way to end the season of body slams, Thursday night slams and stuff with someone that I've known for years that I don't consider your friend. I consider you family, in my opinion, and it'll always be that way. I appreciate you taking the time out of your night, while your family was home, probably sleeping, baby girl sleeping while she's teething,
Yeah,
being
right.
being a girl dad,
Yeah.
I understand. I wear
Yeah.
them every day, all day. Besides when I sleep, I don't want them to break out cry. But give your family loves. Hopefully I get to see you guys all when you come back up here to vacay
It'll
or
be
whatever.
soon.
Which
After the winter. After the winter.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to be
Yeah.
up here either for the winter, but I
No,
live here, so I kind of can't go anywhere.
I'm a Floridian now, so nope.
Yeah, it happens. Listen, I miss the warm weathers. I miss the beach. I miss putting my feet in the sands and drinking a beer.
I'll do it for you on Christmas Eve because that's when
I
I'm taking it.
appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I'll make sure I live stream it.
You can even like take a photo and be like, "Hey, here, Reaper, your drink." Perfectly fine with that. But
right.
man, have a good night. Again, thank you
appreciate it.
so much for coming on. And look forward to maybe seeing you on the 30th. I don't know. I'm gonna try my best
All
to
right,
get
man.
down there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, Kay. Have a good night, sir. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bud.
All right. Well, Chio, if you want to come back on in, you can, or did you fall asleep pushing buttons?
Hey, what's happening, people? Welcome back to the last edition, last episode of season 1 of Thursday Night Slam, and Dennis Reaper knocked it out the park.
I don't know.
I thought he would.
I had other questions, but I won't lie. That paper, I was writing down all types of questions they ask all night for Kay, but I kind of went off the script. I was like, I was gonna go on script, and I was like, no, never mind. I can't do it. We didn't go. I didn't go on script with Amber. I didn't go on script with Jarrett from
that Dennis, that there particular is some of the best shows when you don't have a script in front of you or whatever, and you just go with the flow, especially when you have a good relationship with certain individuals that you have on the show, and that communication is tremendous, and you feed off each other, so it works.
It really does. It really does. Like, Chio, it's been a pleasure, dude, doing this show with you for the past year,
dude. Since February, when we started Breakfast and Body Slams over at Crack Bell, and slowly it progressed from there. We start doing a couple Thursday nights here and there. Then we
Thursday nights just rocketed.
Then we switched over to Last Style Media, and then we just said, fuck it, we're doing some good shit just at home alone. We ain't gotta leave the comfort of our home. We don't need no fucking blue check mark whatsoever.
I want a blue check mark.
No, I fuck that shit. I'm good.
But no, it's been a fun ride. Like, it really has. Like, since we've incorporated the interviews on Thursdays, you know what I mean? Like, we had our guests, but they weren't really interviews. They were like, let's just talk wrestling.
Yeah. Slowly, we adapted. We started to get our ducks in order slowly. We revamped a couple times, as we were going along, and I think we're at a good spot. So when season 2 comes, I think we pretty much will have our feet nice and wet where we know comfortably what we're doing. Mm-hmm. I'm still learning, working behind the scenes with the whole pop-up screen stuff, sharing the stuff that that we had, those couple pieces that we popped up earlier. I guess I'm getting better at it, because I keep playing with it just to make sure. So, but it's slowly coming along, and like, dude, I'm like, there's nothing really much I can say except, thank you personally for sticking it out with me on this damn journey, because It was an accident. It was supposed to be a one-time thing in a
It
studio.
really was a one time.
It was supposed to be a one-time thing. Like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll come back a second time. And the snowball effect, it just happened. We got one more show, which is the Breakfast and Body Slams final show
Sunday.
This Sunday. We don't have a set topic or whatever. There is some stuff in the news that we will touch upon, and like I said, you know what, we'll call that show on the fly, baby.
Look,
Basically,
this is how on the fly we're gonna call it. I'm gonna be at an event on Sunday. Okay, this is where I'm gonna be. Okay, I'm gonna end up. I'm gonna talk. We're gonna start on Sunday, but we'll end it with Saturday's gig. But Sunday at Fairview Fire Company number 11. It's 927 South 7th Street, Allentown, PA. It's called the Christmas Special. It's pro wrestling autographs and memorabilia show from 10 a.m. to 1. Dude, when I tell you who's on at this event, you might actually show up. So
you said for the Saturday one.
Sunday is from 10 to 1. Saturday's even bigger. Okay. And when I mean bigger, I'm mind blown by who's on Saturday.
Well, the Saturday event, you already know I can't make it to that.
Sunday,
it's a possibility. Is it going to be up at that fire hall in Allentown?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have The Godfather. We have Vampiro, which I think my internet lagged. I don't know.
I can hear you.
My screen froze on me for a second.
Yes.
Okay, so we have Vampiro, who rarely does, any autograph cons and conventions, which I'm freaking ecstatic about because I want to meet the guy and I want to talk to him. Santa Claus is going to be there. Okay, Santa Claus is going to be there.
Just going back to what you were saying about Vampiro, that's one of the main guys I actually would love to meet because have you seen his documentary video?
I have not yet. I have not yet because I'm afraid I want to watch it, but I'm afraid to cry.
I was gonna tell you, dude. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Like
I got so choked up from watching it. Like for the stuff that he gone through in his life, or what he's dealing with at this age and stuff.
At this moment,
it breaks my heart because it could happen to any one of us at any given time.
But you also have Shane Douglas, Ken Patera.
You said Shane Douglas is going to be there?
Shane Douglas is going to be there.
Is he going to show up? Is he going to show up?
I don't know, but I'm hoping he does.
because he has a history. He has a history.
No, he does have a history of it. We have Kevin Sullivan, Andrew Anderson, TJP. We have Katie Lee Birchill, which also used to be known as Winner. Back in the day, you have Gary Wolf. You have Sandman. You have Flash Funk, also known as Too Cool Scorpio. You have Xavier Vega going to be there. You have former or current UFC fighter Jessica Evil Eye. We have Peaches, and we have Kimaro. I know I can't pronounce. I never pronounced her name ever right. Kimona.
Yeah,
but that's everybody that's going to be there on Sunday. But dude, Saturday is going to be freaking amazing. So it's called Icons of Wrestling. It's at the 2300 Arena, also formerly known as the ECW Arena off of Swanson. Okay, when I tell you this, I'm going to give you 5 names. You have the Icon Sting. You have the doctor herself, Dr. Britt Baker. You have Kevin Nash. You have, again, the Godfather. You have Too Cool Scorpio. Oh my God, I gotta pull out some of these names.
You keep calling you
have Devon Dudley. You have Bubba Dudley. You have it's out.
Are you bringing Scorpio in?
So me and a gentleman, Ken Hoover, are bringing in. He's bringing in Godfather, and we are both bringing in Too Cool Scorpio. But the best part is our photos that we have are a limited or exclusive only. So We have 2 photos custom made. They will have a sticker that says exclusive Icons of Wrestling Convention and Fan Fest. You can only get these photos on
There
Saturday at the
okay.
event. Like, I will have photos on
Are you
Sunday.
gonna have their names on it too?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
so on the picture it'll say Too Cool Scorpio.
Mhm.
Listen to what I just said.
No, I got what you're saying.
Too Cool Scorpio. You keep calling them.
I know it's too cold.
Yeah, I say you keep calling them Too Cool.
No, I know. It's fun screwing with you a little bit,
like, who
but
the fuck Too Cool?
But no, so like we have 2 photos that are custom made. I'm trying to see if I can pull them up. I should have sent you them earlier, but we had little, you know how like when you buy like limited edition Funko Pops.
Yeah.
So I decided, you know what? Let's make these photos a once of a life, an exclusive. I'm getting stickers made. So they're 1 inch by 1 inch round. They're going to be put on it, but you only get them when you purchase a picture.
And that's a sticker, right?
That is a sticker. So when you purchase these photos, you get these stickers.
You better send me a sticker though, so I can put it on my laptop.
I will. I'll send you one. Your laptop's now an exclusive.
I'm stupid like that.
It'll cost you $10.
Motherfucker.
What? I gotta make $1 somehow.
Take it. Charge a Pat.
He don't pay anyway. But yeah, so like I'm stoked for Saturday. Saturday is gonna be a great day. But then after that, we're gonna be taken to the hotel. Oh yeah, Tom and Caro. And a bunch. I know 2300 Podcasts is bringing people.
Yeah,
DJP is gonna be there.
Yeah, I see they're gonna have that Lance guy there too, who his Facebook gets hacked.
But then they have a wrestling show Saturday night. Okay, so after the convention, they kick everybody out. They loaded. They're gonna put a wrestling ring up, and of course I'm gonna help. Let me just go over the card. Like we got Mercedes Martinez versus the NWA Women's Champion Carmarley, or how you pronounce her first name.
I'm just going.
I can barely read it. I can barely read it because of the print's not the greatest. Then you have Johan, aka Bronson Reed, versus POC. Who else did they got? Oh yeah, Enzo is going to be at this event. Who else? I'm literally going through. Oh, we got Tony Nese versus Buddy Matthews on the card.
That's going to be fire.
Again. Oh, Ric Flair, woo, is going to be at this event. Signing autographs. You have Ruby Soho going to be there. Also that night facing people, you got Bully Ray versus Jerry King Lawler, which I'm actually excited for that match. You have Too Cool Scorpio and a Too Cold Scorpio and a partner of his versus Casey Navarro and Shane Douglas. Screw me, speech is not my strong suit. English is not my strong suit tonight.
It's late.
You have Tanaka's going to be at the autograph. Is that going to be at the Icons event?
Which Tanaka? Is it Pat Tanaka or Tanaka that was in ECW?
I want to say it says Legend Tanaka. I want to say it's Pat.
Pat Tanaka was part of Orient Express.
Or see, they're not. It's not really saying who. It just says Tanaka. So you'll have to look it up on that link.
He used to work Mike Awesome a lot. They used to have a lot of matches in ECW.
I think that's who it is.
They used to beat the piss out of each other.
Yeah, no, I think that's who it is, 100%. We have Gene Snitsky, Gilbert, we have Ruckus, we have James Ellsworth. With no cares. We have the Power of Pain, which I'm kind of excited to meet.
Oh, yes.
Buff Bagwell. You have another rare appearance. You have New Japan Pro Wrestling star Jay White appearing on Saturday to sign autographs. You have Haku going to be there. So I could go down this list. It'd take hours. Sabu's going to be there too.
It's a star-studded list of the who's who that's going to be there.
Rikishi's going to be there. JBL is going to be there again. Like, if you have nothing to do on Saturday, you should be at this event. And I believe the doors open at, I want to say 9 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, and then the show starts at 7:30. So after the autograph event, literally get out of the building, go eat some food. There's a Walmart, there's a Target, there's some good pizza joints in walking distance. If you've never been to a sporting event before, like a convention, and you've always wanted to see what a wrestling one's like, this is that event, okay? I'm not trying to hype up this event. I'm not trying to push tickets for them because I'm not being paid to. But as a vendor and as a wrestling fan,
get your ass there.
As a fan itself, there's so many guys going to be there. It's insane. I know a lot of the tickets. I will say this: the tickets online for Sting's autographs are, I believe, all sold out. All the tickets for Brick Breaker are almost all pretty much sold out. Ric Flair has a couple left. But I think you might be able to purchase tickets in house. And
right. So what you're saying? Each vending table is individual tickets you have to buy for each one.
Yes.
So, but then is there a separate cover charge to get in?
Yes. Yep.
So you got to pay the cover charge.
Yep.
And then you got to pay for whichever.
Yep. And it depends on the town. Like Sting was charging $100 for an autograph and a photo, or 2 autographs for $100. To me, that's not really a bad deal. Like I met Kurt Angle, it cost me $100 to get 2 autographs.
And that's the thing, if you have the money to spend.
Yeah.
But and then the one thing I hate about that though is like, okay, it's not for the fans and stuff, but then yet we are us wrestlers and stuff like that we are still fans. But it's like, but also at the same time, where we always bitch and complain about talent instead of investing into themselves as far as getting custom gear and doing this and doing that. They won't spend that little bit of money, but they'll spend hundreds of dollars to go buy a ticket to go see a WWE, like a major pay-per-view event that's coming to town, like MSG or whatever, or to go to these big or they buy these replica belts. They'll spend all this money doing all this other stuff instead of investing into their own gear and stuff. But that's just me getting off track, though.
Yeah. I also forgot Mr. Glock himself, Art Anderson, will be there with his son Brock, Jay Lethal, Stacy Carter, aka the Cat, Jacqueline, Tyler Breeze is going to be there. Scarlett, formerly released NXT star Scarlett, will be in the facility signing autographs as well. Again, you're going to get to see guys that you didn't expect to see anytime soon since releases. They're ready to do it. Dave, if you want Jay Lethal and you're not able to get there, let me know. I'll try to help you out. Keener is booked for ACPW. That's cool. Listen, get me the money. I'll get you your autograph and I'll get it to you. That's not an issue. We'll discuss that privately in messages. I'll take care of you. But yeah, dude, I'm stoked for Saturday. I'm stoked for Sunday. Downfall is we got to leave the venue by on Sunday at I want to say 12:30ish. And me and Nina are going to be driving too cold all the way to JCW for a show at 3:00.
JCW. Where's that one going to be at?
Where do you think?
What, in Ridgefield Park?
Oh,
okay. All right.
Yep, we're going to Ridgefield Park, so I'm going to be there for that event. So
yay. I see that place quite too often. I just picked up another date. I will let you know after we get off the air of who's it for.
Yeah.
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. It's a new company being brought to the area by some well-known individuals.
Fair enough.
who been on TV and been to Japan and stuff like that. So yeah, I got reached out.
I'm
I got
intrigued.
reached out to. So it's gonna work in my favor if things go good and they continue. Yeah, I can be seeing Richfield a lot more. Oh man, it's crazy.
But no, I'm gonna send you. Well, I'm sending you photos and stuff now.
Okay.
Of
But you know
for
what?
this weekend. We might as well end the show.
And we're gonna talk off air.
Exactly.
We'll talk off
exactly.
Air. So everyone, I want to thank Dennis again for bringing in Kekoa on this final episode of Thursday Night Slam for 2021, and we will be back again the first Thursday in January with none other than NWA star Black G's. So you don't want to miss out. Tune in this Sunday for Breakfast and Body Slams for our final episode. It's going to be off the chain. It's going to be unplugged, uncensored, unscripted. There's going to be some stuff in the current news that we can talk about. But other than that, we're just going to go on the fly and have fun with it because we had a great year. And like I said, we would not be here without the support of each other on this team, with the support of Mikey, Austin, Pat, now Joey, and anyone else who came on the show as any of our guests, guys from other podcasts who jump on to talk with us. We appreciate it. We thank everybody, and we'll give these thanks again on Sunday. So yeah, tune in Sunday at 11 a.m. for the final episode of season 1 of Breakfast and Body Slams. So thank you, people. And have a good night. Peace. Let's see how fast this thing ends.